I would just, I guess, like to start the intro off, and yeah, I bite my fingers. That's why they look like that. It is what it is. Um, Superman is a character who most people would consider to be boringly overpowered. And a lot of people, because of that, like to make fun of him, like call him a pussy, all that. They really believe that Superman is pussy, and just not written well at all. And while I agree that the Boy Scout nature is not as effective when it comes to getting things done, I will have to disagree when it comes to Superman being a pussy, because much like Captain America, he's going to do what's right, period. Like that's basically what he's been nurtured to do since he was a little boy. The Kents raised him well. They're still in his life. He has moral values that may have gone stale or obsolete to most people, but when you read a good Superman comic written by somebody who knows what they're doing, you can see that there's always a place for those morals somewhere. Not somewhere, but there's always going to be a place for those morals in society. There's always going to be a need for people who think like Superman, who think like Captain America, or Spider-Man, or I can't name another goody two shoes who's quite as goody two shoes as those three characters. But no matter what, there will always be a need for characters like that. If for nothing else but optimism, right? Because a lot of people assume that characters like that are really just good for giving speeches. Well, I read through some Superman comics, and I have to say that, yeah, everybody's pretty much right about Superman, because Superman was written by so many freaking people. He's been given, already comic artists get the opportunity to draw more comics for more people than most others. But shit, like, Superman's been passed around to so many people, you know. He's been passed around to so many people that at this point he he feels like a stale character only because, oh shit, this is the one. Only because of books like this, right? Books like this Superman Adventures thing. And maybe it was based off the TV show, maybe it wasn't. But I read through this right here, and it was some bullshit. It was crap. It wasn't bad, right? It wasn't like 100% bad, but there was nothing interesting about the story. It was completely forgettable. I don't remember the villain's name. I don't remember how. I mean, I remember the object that they were searching for and all that shit, but I don't really remember the brunt of it. Now, this Superman comic right here is the one we're gonna be talking about today. And I know what you're thinking. No, Superman's not about to get cucked by Batman. Y'all Batman Lois shippers need to chill. In this comic, it really reminds you of how far Superman and Batman are willing to go to A, preserve what they care about, and B, preserve their own morals. You see, Superman is a character with stronger morals than shit. We've already been over that. So, give me 2 seconds here, and I will continue. Just 2 seconds. I should have had my lighter out. That's my fault. Alright. So, in this comic, it starts off giving Lois Lane haters a lot to complain about, because boy, she is bitching in the beginning of this comic. And I've had to say this to a couple of characters, right? Because a lot of people write a character off, because they were being bitchy in a scene and they're just the wife character. They do this with Mary Jane too a lot. That, oh well, you don't have superpowers, so therefore you don't have anything to bitch about. And it's like, well, that's not true. They're around. They're constantly around an not an abnormal person, but a damn near godlike person who is pretending to be normal. So, you don't have the regular type of accidents going on in these comics. You have godlike accidents like Crypto fucking up the entire kitchen. You get what I'm saying? And in this arc, because I know they've rebooted Crypto a lot, they've retconned Crypto a lot. He comes and goes. No writer is ever really that consistent with what Crypto is doing and where he is. But in this version, they gave us a couple of things to work with here. They gave us a lot of things to work with, because you get to see what it's like for a normal person living in a house with not only a Superman, but a fucking super dog. And Martha came over. This is also an origin story for Crypto's cape. This is the origin story for the super dog cape. And I really love this is almost an anime-esque look. Like, she's pissed off, but she's holding that smile because she can't be rude. And even still, she's saying what's on her mind out loud, because she's Lois fucking Lane. She doesn't have a filter. She doesn't know what those are. When it comes to the Kents living in a household together, especially after them being married, you end up seeing a lot of stuff that, well, we'll get to that in a minute. I wanna dial back here and actually talk about Ed McGuinness's art. Ed McGuinness, because I was just on Twitter earlier today, right? And they were talking about, oh, you let somebody who made this movie make Star Wars, and it was a girl in a bikini. But like, Ed McGuinness has been getting away with drawing, dudes with very, very unrealistic proportions. Like, dude, your ankles will break. That's not even, you know what I mean? Like, that's not all that. Anyway, I love this exaggerated style. Don't get me wrong. I was gonna say that next. I feel like exaggerated styles in comics are necessary, like for both women and men, because that's how you make these characters look larger than life. Like the whole unrealistic body goals thing in a comic book, that shouldn't be a problem, because in DC anyway, they have unrealistic standards to live up to in the first place. Like, these heroes are able to live up to unrealistic standards every day. They're not telling you to go out and be exactly who they are, mirror them. They're telling you to be the best version of yourself, as close to somebody like that person as you can be. So I feel like when they make comics like this, and they let it, like, because his best work, to be honest, is when he draws Batman and Superman adventures together. And like, I like how he draws his exaggerated muscles on the males. I love how he draws the cute faces on the women. Like, he always gives them, like, nice sized lips, nose that doesn't look ugly. I draw, so I'm specific about noses. His women always look on point, even if you consider this to be exaggerated. Like, look at Clark over here. I love how he draws Clark Kent, man. I love it. This is what Superman is supposed to look like. So we fast forward to Lois's dick of a dad, and he really reminds me a lot of Thunderbolt Ross. I don't read a lot of Superman and DC things, and I'm not going to keep making that excuse. I'm going to be reading more DC comics because the comics that I have read, like I haven't only read like a handful, right? I've read a fair share, but the ones that I've read, I either forgot about them or yeah, I forgot about them. they were they weren't interested enough to remember, in my opinion. But Clark Kent being drawn right here, and you see he's looking through. You know who's looking through here. You ain't even gotta. Yeah, and I'm not about to show you all the pages. I skipped a couple, but you see that grr happening while her dad's being a dick, because of course he's saying shit that's making the family pissed off, and he's even calling Superman a pussy even. Like he at first he called Clark a pussy, and then he called Superman a pussy, basically. Cause she's like, no, I can fight my own battles. He's like, well, yeah, you would have to with fucking Clark, with Clark for a husband. You see this shit? And then he's like, why you think Superman? And he's like, well, because he can't, because he's trying to do the right thing. Like, whether he likes it or not, the American people voted Luthor into office. Like, into office. Right or wrong, Superman is bound by that. He's still not above the law. Or at least he tries his best to not be, you know? He says, until Luthor steps over the line and breaks the law. And we all know he will. But he would rather wait, you know? He would rather wait than have somebody build something against his God-level ass. Like, he makes one wrong move and everybody decides he's evil again. And then, like, you know how that goes. An evil Superman, everybody's afraid of. So Crypto finds out what the fuck's going on. Like, bro, we getting spied on. He's like, huh, you growling for a reason. I'm here. Y'all Batman fans, look at this, bro. He said, I've been made. I didn't want it to go down like this. I hadn't counted on the dog. See that? There are certain things that Batman does not expect, y'all. Superman showed up. You're angry. You're spying on me. Just look at this. Look at this art. You know what? I'm not about to keep. I'm just saying, bro, like unrealistic proportions and all on these characters, bro. Cause you know, we all know that we know how it goes. Like, shoot, a freaking leg vein and shit like that is not gonna be shown through some pants, but you know, these are things that we don't complain about because we don't care. I'm not gonna say men or women. I'm gonna say the main audience don't care about things like this. So he's like, there's no more secrets in JLA. He's like, I thought we agreed no more surprises. Exactly. That eventually goes into them. That eventually goes into Bruce running the Daily Planet. Like, for all of you that know or don't know or whichever it is, like, shit, like, Bruce he is a big shareholder in the Daily Planet. He basically owns it. So Lois sees him and she's like, oh, you knew. I know you knew he was coming. She fucking flipped on the bat signal because she's Lois Lane. He's like, bro, we gotta chill on that. Chill with that shit. Calm that down. I don't know what you're doing, but you need to fucking chill. And, you know, of course, they're married now. Lois Lane and Superman are married now, right? So Batman is respecting, well, he always did respect Lois, right? But he's treading lightly with his words, which is pretty unusual for him when it comes to, you know, how he would speak to anyone. And he's like, well, damn, Clark should have told me that she didn't know. Because there's no secrets in the JLA, which is an interesting thing, right? Because, boy, read literally any JLA comic, you'll see how many times that rule gets broken. So, yeah, Yeah, but he can fly, blah, blah, blah. They end up infiltrating some shit, right? And they're infiltrating this building because Lex Luthor has kryptonite still, and he's the president. And they're not trying to wait around. Well, at least Lois is not trying to wait around for Lex to just use it because she knows it could potentially kill Superman. Batman agrees with this and decides to go behind his back with her to go and get this kryptonite. And he's like, I hope that where is it where he said it? He's like, I hope that he said, I hope that she knows that, yeah, my hope is that Clark will someday appreciate what Lois has done for him tonight. We go here, and they're like, oh shit, this is bad. Like, really bad. You both realize this stops here. So, I'm pumped to see what's going to happen next. I'm not going to hold you up. This is the type of story writing with Superman and Batman where their morals come into conflict versus their ideals, because they all basically have the same goals, right? We want to keep everybody safe, but Batman is willing to do illegal shit to keep people safe. Superman is not so underhanded. He'll do what he has to here and there, especially depending on if he has a really bad writer, but they've never really made him take the Batman approach towards solving a problem. Superman likes to do things by the book. And of course, it doesn't really matter what Batman says to Superman to try to get him to forgive him for this. You know what? I'll take that back. I feel like Lois is just gonna bitch him out. She's gonna be like, are you talking to him like I can't make decisions for my fucking self? Because that's the type of character Lois is. Then it's gonna be between them.